Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you wouldn't mind, please make sure to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Not in the usual studio today because I am away on my holidays, but we're still doing these live streams every single day because we need to stay up to date with what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. This industry moves incredibly quickly, so it doesn't give you much time to have a day off, but I think that's why we all love it in a way. Let's take a look at what's going on in the prices here first of all. So Bitcoin is trading up at $73,442. If we take a look here, you can see we are getting closer and closer to maybe retest and try and create a new all-time high once again today. We will be talking about some bullish and bearish indicators later on in today's stream. We've got Ethereum down 2% within the last 24 hours as well. Following the Dencun upgrade, we have seen a little bit of a move to the downside. We will be discussing that today as well. That is now trading at $3,980. But if we go down through the top 20 cryptocurrencies, you can see that we've got a real mixed bag today. Doge is up over 7%, AVAX is up over 4% again. But we do have some tokens that have not performed so well. Ethereum being the worst so far, with XRP above 2% out of the top 20 there. So there is some volatility in the markets. If we take a look at the biggest gainers and losers for the altcoins today, we can see that the gainers, we've got Loopring up over 16%. Solana up over 10%. And for losers, we're looking at ApeCoin, Synthetics, and Arbitrum there as well. So there are some movements still going on in the space while Bitcoin tries to attack that all-time high once again, which is really, really nice to see. Good morning, Rob. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. I very much appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. It really does help us grow the channel, and we are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers here on the channel. And it's a difficult task, but we're on the mission. It's been slow, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Let's take a look at what's going on in the Bitcoin price. First of all, let's take a look at the charts here. So on the hourly chart, we drew these levels of support and resistance yesterday in the stream, and we have been respecting them pretty nicely ever since. You can see that we have retested that level of support a couple of times. If I elongate that, you can see we've had 3 wicks down to that level of support there. This is now at around $72,900, which is absolutely insane to say. Look, we have a level of support that's almost at $73,000 is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, and I like it. And in terms of levels of resistance here, we have one at $74,000. But I think we should be more taking a look at what's going on and in terms of the horizontal levels of resistance, and because we clearly have some levels of resistance here, and this is in white, so we can't see here at $73,600 just from a couple of the wicks and the bodies here. But I don't think it's super strong. It's not something I'm too cautious about. One thing I am concerned, well, not cautioned about, pleased to see, which is something I think is more significant than that level of resistance, is the liquidation heat map. Once again, we are looking at this every single day because Bitcoin has been performing in line with these liquidations very nicely within the last couple of weeks. So it's definitely something that's worth keeping an eye on. If you just search Bitcoin liquidation heat map, it should come up as the first link. I used the one on CoinGlass. You can see here that these lines show where the most traders will get liquidated. So if Bitcoin's price goes up to $74,440, a huge amount of short traders will get liquidated. Now, we know that Bitcoin takes the path of most pain. So when we're looking at this chart, the yellow lines are really acting like magnets for the Bitcoin price. Now, you can see we had a yellow line develop yesterday, and Bitcoin quickly wicked those traders and liquidated those positions. We now have the same again with magnets up above us. So this is really nice to see and really positive. If we take a look at the six-month chart, we do have one below us down at $34,000. But as the price continues to increase, it's less and less likely that those traders are going to get liquidated. And congratulations to you if you're in a long position with your liquidation level down at $34,000. That line's been there a while. But we are seeing so far on the 24-hour chart, magnets up above us. So they're making me feel pretty positive about the Bitcoin price right now. I know that we're in a bull market market. It's easy to get in the owner mentality, and we are capable of having 20-30% pullbacks regularly in a bull market. But right now, there's still magnets above us. There's no real reason as to why we should retrace right now. Not that Bitcoin needs one, but I'm cautiously bullish still, and so hopefully that doesn't change anytime soon and we can continue on this upwards momentum. I like that it's not I like that we are seeing consolidation within the moves, because that's super important. Let's see what is going on here in the chat. Good morning, Marin. Good morning, Kiwi. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, very much appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, and I would appreciate if you tune in with us every single weekday so you don't miss out on what's going on here in the cryptocurrency space. Let's see what is going on in the next article here. In the Fear and Greed Index, we are up at 88. So that is a significant jump from yesterday. We were at 81 yesterday, and I was saying this feels too high because on crypto Twitter, yes, people are bullish, but also there are some bearish concerns being thrown around. Now what we're seeing, we're not going to see extreme fear until there's a 20-30% pullback here. So this is kind of a lagging indicator in a way, but it is useful to use on the bigger time frame. So it's definitely something to be keeping an eye on. Let's take a look at this first article of the day. We're going to run through the news now and see what's going on. And then at the end, we will analyze the price of Bitcoin, the price of Ethereum, and some altcoins as well. So first here, we have the NUPL chart indicates euphoria greed to arrive at $100,000. Now, the NUPL is the net unrealized profit loss chart, and this is used to understand at what part of the markets we are at, because typically what happens in a cycle is we have it's best if I can read them out rather than doing it from memory, but I feel like we're gonna have to do it from memory. Here we go. No, so first of all, we have capitulation. So this is in a bear market, and this is when people are selling their assets for a loss, because they no longer believe in the future of the asset. And then we see some sort of pump in a market, and that is seen to be hope/fear. Then we move into the optimism stage where it's continued to pump and we're feeling optimistic about what's to come. And then we drop into the belief/deny. So there's the bullish scenario and the bearish scenario. We have the capitulation, then we have the hope when we're pumping, then we have the optimism when we continue to pump, then we have the belief that we're meant to be pumping, and then we hit euphoria where everybody is super bullish. The Fear and Greed Index is all the way up at 95, and then that's when we typically see you start to move to the downside. So with that, with this chart here, we are seeing that the net unrealized profit and loss chart is firmly within the within the belief/denial zone, as Bitcoin stands tall at $72,500 at the time of writing. Historically, the NUPL has provided several top indicators, but failed to identify others. So it's not 100% accurate every single time, but it has been said that, look, when this chart enters euphoria/greed, this is the cycle top. I personally don't think this is the case this time round, but if you were going off probability and you were going off historical situations, you would be cautious at $100,000. So looking at Bitcoin's recent trajectory alongside the NUPL, it can be suggested if Bitcoin were to hit $100,000, the NUPL would be placed in or marginally below euphoria/greed. So still, this does not mean Bitcoin will peak at $100,000, as the NUPL is just one measurement of sentiment. However, it has a history of being both correct and incorrect with its signal. So it does have a track record of being accurate with this signal. When it hits euphoria/greed, it is time to sell because that's the Bitcoin top. I'm standing by that. I don't think that's the case this time around, but we don't know for sure. If you want to go off probability and history for this one measurement, yes, it's looking like a sell indicator. But if you put all of the indicators together and make a decision off multiple different factors, I mean, the Bitcoin ETFs are a big enough factor for me to make this seem less likely to be the case this time. It is still possible. I'm just saying it seems less likely that this chart is going to be accurate with that prediction of $100,000 being the top when we're seeing a huge amount of other analysts and measurements and indicators showing otherwise. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news here, though, because I want to talk about some more bullish predictions when it comes to the Bitcoin price. And then we're going to move on to talk about the Ethereum upgrade. So first of all, Samson Mao has says Bitcoin will hit $1 million this year amid unprecedented demand. So his bullish stance on Bitcoin's future comes at a time when the crypto market is witnessing an unprecedented level of interest from institutional investors. Jan3 CEO said Bitcoin is on track to hit $1 million per coin this year on the next based on market conditions. Based on market conditions, the upcoming halving, and broader economic factors. So we've all been through these factors before. The Bitcoin ETFs allow institutional investors to get involved in the space and get exposure to the Bitcoin price. We are seeing institutions scooping up Bitcoin right now, which means that the Bitcoin ETFs are seeing a huge amount of inflows. Right now, they're purchasing about 10 times the amount of Bitcoin that's added into circulation every single day. In just over a month, we are going to see the inflation rate for Bitcoin half, mean that ETFs, if they continue at the current rate, will be buying up 20 times the amount of Bitcoin that is added into circulation every single day. So the supply increase cannot keep up with the increase in demand. Therefore, we are lining up for what could be a huge supply shock. We are seeing the amount of available Bitcoin on exchanges dropping, and we are seeing ETFs scoop up a huge amount of Bitcoin. So when we see this halving and the inflation rate half in the middle of April, if we continue to see Bitcoin ETFs demand increase, and we see retail investors buying off the centralized exchanges, a supply shock is in order, and that's when the supply just cannot battle with the demand, and therefore we see the price increase to reflect that. Now, if we take a look at this, the Jan 3 CEO stance on Bitcoin's future comes at a time when the crypto market is witnessing an unprecedented level of interest from institutional investors, as seen with the involvement of entities like BlackRock and the emergence of spot Bitcoin ETFs. He said that the demand for Bitcoin is far outstripping its supply, a trend that's only expected to intensify with the upcoming Bitcoin halving. So as I've just discussed that, this Bitcoin halving has historically significantly impacted the crypto's value. We are effectively slashing the new supply of Bitcoin by 50%. So we will be seeing about 400 Bitcoin per day. Now, the CEO believes that the halving, coupled with the steady demand of ETFs, reportedly pulling in about 22,000 Bitcoin daily, sets the stage for a substantial price increase beyond the immediate effects of supply and demand trends. He delved into more nuanced economic theories to bolster his prediction. He discussed the Veblen effect, a phenomenon where the desirability of a good increases with its price. He believes that as Bitcoin's value climbs, it will become even more sought after, further driving up its price. This is particularly significant as Bitcoin approaches what he terms the Veblen threshold, parity with the gold market cap, established to be around $450,000 to $500,000 per coin. Surpassing the threshold could trigger a massive shift of value from gold to Bitcoin, cementing its status as the new gold. Now, there are some centralization concerns. Mao also addresses concerns about market manipulation and the influence of major players like BlackRock becoming Bitcoin whales. He said one should always assume that such entities are bad actors. He said that Bitcoin's decentralization is the only way to ensure bad actors can be kept in check, and emphasized the importance of decentralization in mining, development, and ownership to mitigate risks in the ecosystem. Further, he advocated diversifying Bitcoin's geographical footprint by onboarding nation states. He said this would balance power dynamics by pitting institution players against sovereign entities. Now, if we take a look at what's happening right now, Bitcoin is being built up a huge amount by institutions like BlackRock, like Vanek. Now, they are ETF products, so they're slightly different, but we are seeing them quickly become one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin ever. And that is insane to think about. Now, we're not in a threat in terms of decentralization of mining because these companies are not mining Bitcoin. However, them owning a huge amount of Bitcoin does take away from the amount of Bitcoin that is being used for its real purpose, which is to make peer-to-peer payments. So when Bitcoin ETFs are accumulating Bitcoin, they're not buying it to use it in the way that it was intended to be used. They're buying it because it's a store of value, and because it's an ETF product. So there is a difference here. And I have been reading and going down a bit of a rabbit hole about what could happen here if the majority of Bitcoin is put into ETFs, and a huge percentage of the network isn't used for peer-to-peer payments. Now, I don't think it's too much of a concern, because how many of us use Bitcoin for peer-to-peer payments now? A lot of us are accumulating and holding on to the long term, diamond handing. But it is something to kind of keep on our minds right now. But still, these price predictions are very, very nice. I do believe as the price of Bitcoin increases, it could become more desirable to a lot. We've seen that over and over again in cycles. But we're seeing here, if Bitcoin were to become parity with gold's market cap and get around $450,000, $500,000 per coin, it could trigger a massive shift that could even push it further. I believe that. Will we see it this cycle? I do not know. I think we have another cycle to come. I'm not 100% on that, but I do. I do believe there will be a bear market at some point in time within these 4-year cycles, and I believe we'll have a significant drop before the next rally to the upside. But who knows at this point? Who knows? It's been absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat here. What's going on here? Kiwi says, I off-grid, but with good internet, so I can indulge in crypto. Perfect. That's the perfect scenario with no distractions. Time to educate. Let's see what's going on here. Lots of conversations in the chat today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, and I'd appreciate it if you tune in every single weekday. And also, if you could like, subscribe, and press that bell notification button, it would help a lot. Let's see what's going on in the news here. Let's carry on through the news here. So, next of all, we have Bitcoin miners are selling. So they're continuing to sell at this price point. Miners play a pivotal role in dictating Bitcoin's supply dynamics, and their decision to sell or hold is a strong indicator of the overall health of the market. We are seeing miners sell right now. I mean, I understand why they need to sell. They need to pay for all their expenses. It's very, very expensive to be a mining company. But right now they are choosing to sell off their Bitcoin pre-halving. Now they are obviously going to see a significant cut in the amount of Bitcoin they earn every single day following the middle of April and that Bitcoin halving. But with the price increase, it's starting to balance out. So it's good to see that we are staying resilient and still holding these price points despite those miners selling. That's the most important fact to be considering here. But let's move on to Ethereum here, because we have finally seen the Dencun upgrade. Now, this was meant to take place back in October 2023, but several events caused the postponement of the date to Q1 2024. And now we have finally seen it go live after it was deployed on 3 test nets and was successful. So we are now seeing the Dencun upgrade is live, and this should lower transaction fees on Ethereum-based layer 2 networks. So we've already seen this go live on Go Early, Sepolia, and Holeski, and we are now seeing it has been deployed on the Ethereum mainnet. Now, this is expected to reduce the transaction fees of Ethereum-based layer 2 networks by introducing data blobs via EIP 4844, also dubbed proto-danksharding. But so this is going to improve transaction fees on Ethereum-based layer 2 networks, but not for Ethereum itself. Now, it's on the mission to make Ethereum a more scalable blockchain. So the Dencun upgrade has gone live in the Ethereum network, preparing the network's infrastructure for scalability, cheaper transactions, streamlines data management techniques, and increased smart contract security. But it's not going to bring down those Ethereum transaction fees. It's bringing down Ethereum-based layer 2 networks transaction fees, which, I mean, it wasn't too much of a concern for us already. I don't believe for the majority of cases. We're more concerned about what's going on with the Ethereum gas fees, but we are still seeing developments from the Ethereum Foundation, always trying to improve the network. There's always difficulty when it comes to such a big blockchain. We have the blockchain trilemma, where essentially you have decentralization, you have scalability, and you have security, all in a triangle, and you can't get all 3 perfect. A lot of blockchains have to sacrifice one to get the other 2 good, and there's always trying to get the right mix between the 3. when you've got a blockchain, and as the blockchain grows, you need to start changing and adapting to make sure you're continuously scalable, decentralized and secure. Now, obviously, these blockchains need to be secure. We have seen Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, also already address the decentralization concerns post merge to proof of stake, and we are now seeing upgrades to try and help with the scalability of the network. I just think it's really, really impressive and important to see these developments continue to take place for such a big blockchain, because these are not projects that we can just deploy out and just let them live. We need to be building and developing to continue to be the best in the space. So really important to see these upgrades. Not all of them are what everybody agrees with. We saw that with the merge, but we are still seeing developments, and that's what's important. Let's see what's going on with the rest of the cryptocurrency news here. We have the ETF update, another IBIT record, as ETFs see over $1 billion in inflow in a single day. This was recorded yesterday, so this must have been on Tuesday. Huge news here. It's brilliant to see these Bitcoin ETFs continue to outperform themselves. Let's take a look at what else has been going on here. So PancakeSwap unveils V4, expected to launch in Q3 of this year. So the decentralized exchange PancakeSwap is preparing to unveil V4 later this year. The newest edition will introduce 4 key improvements to its automated market maker. So PancakeSwap developers detailed their commitment to cheaper, more efficient on-chain trading experiences, which would be very good. What we're seeing here is hooks, custom pool types. The singleton change will merge all pools into a singular contract. The flash accounting change is another gas saving measure there as well. So if you are a PancakeSwap user or investor, or you are a potential investor, make sure to check out this article to see the potential there. Let's take a look at what's going on in terms of the PancakeSwap price here on Crypto Saving Expert. Make sure to use Crypto Saving Expert whenever you're searching your coins. Let's take a look what's going on here. It's up 6% within the last 24 hours. It's seen a real significant pump here within the last couple of days. It was as low as $2.54, and it's got as high as $5.25. So over a 100% pump there. Very nice to see. Let's see what else is going on here. High tax breaks for income from investment tokens. They are trying to be more pro-crypto and welcome crypto people into the area, which is brilliant to see. And we are seeing here Binance push to hand over top 100 local users by Nigeria. The exchange is under pressure from the Nigerian government. According to the Financial Times, Binance is being commanded by Nigeria to hand over user data. The demands from the government came as whispers spread of a huge potential fine heading the exchange's way. So the government has requested information on Nigeria's top 100 exchange users. It has also asked for the transaction history from the last 6 months, citing a laser focus on Binance users. Using the information, Nigerian authorities could check if the users have paid obligatory taxes and potentially penalize them if found to be non-compliant. The crackdown comes as the government takes aim at cryptocurrencies' effect on the Nigeria's fiat currency, and the presidential advisor on information and strategy suggests that Binance and other exchanges were responsible for a devaluation in Nigeria's fiat currency, which is insane to think about, because Bitcoin, when we all got into Bitcoin, it was not big enough to have an impact on fiat currencies, but it's getting that big, and that's insane. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat. Rob says plan to not sell any Bitcoin, aim to consolidate all gains into Bitcoin. Kiwi says Thailand is going to be a major crypto hub, very progressive. I agree. We're seeing a lot of developments in Thailand, really trying to open up the area for crypto people to get in and just have a nice tax-free life. Let's take a look at what's going on in some of the charts here today, though, before we close off today's stream. What we've got here is Bitcoin is trading at $73,250 on the hourly chart. In terms of the 15-minute chart, we are really consolidating in these levels, which is not bad to see at all. If we take a look at Ethereum USDT, we can see here that on the 1-hour chart, here we go. We do have some level of resistance here. If we run across here, this is at 4,058. We are now back below the $4,000 level. We've seen this a couple of times. Ethereum can't decide if it likes it yet. So we're at this price point. I would actually say that this is the level of support. Actually, do you know what? Actually, if we pull this level up here, I think we're close. I think we're close to this level of support here. So you can see I've pulled this level of support from this one here, level of resistance here, support, 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 support. So we're at that point now. That's at 3,963. We have the potential to drop lower than this. Ethereum, honestly, this chart is not making me feel super confident. The Do I like this one or do I like? There's another level of support here at $3,930. Neither of these lines though are making me really happy with the Ethereum price. None of them are giving me a huge amount of um confidence when we're looking at this chart. I think we're best to actually take this line here. So we're taking the wicks there, and the level of support there. And that's down at 3,887. I think this really depends on the Bitcoin price. Now, the reason, just a top tip here, I would never use this price action here to draw a level of support and resistance on the hourly chart, because this is not a local low or a local high yet. It's neither. A lot of people will, when they're new to drawing levels of support and resistance, say, okay, this is a level of support here. But if the price of Bitcoin if the price of Ethereum started to drop right now, would you still class this as a low? Probably not. The price action hasn't been strong enough for me to consider any of this to be a local high or a local low. So this is pretty irrelevant here. And we're looking at previous data there to try and find the levels of support and resistance. Ethereum chart's not looking too good. Let's take a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin and see what's going on here. Are we going to start to see a bounce here anytime soon? On the daily chart, Bitcoin has just been outperforming Ethereum over and over again. We are heading towards this level of support that we've been looking at here at 0.05384. Do you know what? It's making me regret diversifying. I really, really prefer to hold Bitcoin. And I chose to diversify because I wanted to outperform Bitcoin. But Ethereum's not even doing that right now. It's so hard in this market. Good morning, Rob C. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. How's your holiday, Jess? It is lovely. That's why we're not in the usual studio. I am on my holidays in the sunshine, getting a little bit of winter sun. And you may be wondering why I've got my jumper on. The aircon in this room is freezing, so I need to figure out how to turn it off, and then I will be going outside and enjoying the sunshine for the day. So thank you very much. Let's take a look at what else is going on with some altcoins before we close off today's stream. We've got Solana here pumping, creating new yearly highs, getting closer and closer to that all-time high at $256. We've got Polkadot. Let's take a look at this. Some people were talking about this in yesterday's stream. Pumping very nicely up to $11.86. Very nice price action there. Now, if we take a look at Polkadot versus Bitcoin, we can see that it's starting to outperform Bitcoin here. Potentially, we could be starting to see a bottom here. Now, we've not seen this since literally back in May 2021. Bitcoin has been outperforming Polkadot a lot here. Let's see what's going on here. James is confident that Ethereum will go pump against Bitcoin. Honestly, I'm cautious about this theory because we've seen it in previous cycles, but we've not seen the markets when Bitcoin has the Bitcoin ETFs and none of the other assets do. Bitcoin has that removed barrier to entry when none of the other assets do. So I'm still bullish, but I'm always looking at the Bitcoin value of my altcoins, and I'm not super confident that we will see such a strong pump on that chart. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm still kind of making up my mind on this. But as the time is going on, Bitcoin ETF inflows are what's pumping Bitcoin, and we can't have those inflows for Ethereum and for altcoins. Obviously, it still attracts investors into the cryptocurrency space, but I'm cautious here about my expectations on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. But I'm not 100% certain on that decision yet. I know as soon as I sell back into Bitcoin, it'll pump, and I'll be very angry. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm interested to see how it goes anyway. With the Ethereum ETFs looking less and less likely as time goes on, it's making me more and more cautious about that, because the Ethereum ETFs could have really solved that dilemma for me. But it's looking like there's a 35% chance that Ethereum ETFs will get over the line, according to analysts. And that's disappointing. So we were looking at a 50% chance. And then, as we reported in yesterday's stream, we are saying that there's a lack of activity between ETF issuers for Ethereum ETFs and the SEC. When the Bitcoin ETFs were going live, we were seeing a huge amount of activity there, lots of discussions, lots of the filings getting amendments made to them to make sure they're exactly what they needed for the SEC to approve those applications. And we just haven't seen that with the Ethereum ETFs so far. Now, the deadline for the SEC is the 23rd of May. Now, if we start to see some movement within the next couple of weeks, I'm sure the likelihood for an Ethereum ETF can increase, but we are getting close to that date now. And in the 8 weeks prior to a Bitcoin ETF, there was a lot of activity. So that's what we're considering here. But hopefully things do change around. Hopefully those Ethereum ETFs go across the line. James says Ether's had a high of 0.136. 0.1 is well within its view. Diamond hands, Jess. And diamond handing, Rob says, looks like there are other ETFs being launched in the world. Doesn't end with the US. Very true. It doesn't end with the US, but that's what has the biggest impact. Let's see what's going on here. Let's take a look. Can you guys see what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, you can. Let's take a look at what's going on quickly with some of the big altcoins before we close off today's stream. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Before we close off, I want to have a look at Doge, because Doge is pumping again. It's looking, I mean, it does this sometimes. We saw this in the previous cycle. Look at that. It's just kind of on a mission to have a really nice price action. Do you know what's interesting? I want to take a look at the Bitcoin dominance right now. Bitcoin market cap dominance. Here we go. So this is pretty low. We did see this much higher at the previous halving. Interesting. Very interesting. It's still increasing. If we take a look at what happened in the previous cycle, you could see that when we approached the months, just a couple of months prior to the Bitcoin halving, we did see this start to drop off. Can we reverse back to the previous cycle there again? Yeah, so if we zoom in here, you can see that. No, let's not do that. Here we go. Bitcoin halving, and just a couple of months before the Bitcoin halving, this started to drop off. Now this trend is starting to break as well. You can see we are just a couple of months away from the Bitcoin halving, and this chart is not dropping off. The Bitcoin dominance is holding strong. So that's what's happening there. Enso Mining says Elon said yesterday that Doge will be used for payments on Tesla at some point. See, do you know what? This is the problem with being on holiday. You miss some of the major news. This is really important. Let me check this out and see what's going on there. Let's pull that up. So Elon Musk, let's validate this claim before we get excited with what's happening here. Do you know what? I don't even get excited about this. It frustrates me when Elon gets involved in it. Let's see if he has any tweets. Let's pull this in so you can see what I'm looking at. So he has been tweeting about Doge quite a lot, actually. Let's see where the tweet is. Has anyone got the tweet link in the chat? Let's see what we've got here. I can't see anything on his Twitter page, but he has been tweeting about Doge. He has shared this tweet here with a Doge designer on Twitter. Has tweeted about X, and he has retweeted that. And we have seen, is this all we've seen in terms of Doge? I think this is all we've seen. Bruce says, I saw a tweet that Musk called Doge the people's token. I will try and validate this before tomorrow's stream, and we'll go through that in tomorrow's stream. But James says, everyone in crypto works in a New York minute response. Get a map review of 8 months, people. No, I'm not. I'm a long-time investor. I'm just interested to see how Ethereum will perform this time when Bitcoin doesn't, and when the dominance is holding up and Bitcoin is holding up against Ethereum. It'll be an interesting time. But that's all we have for today's stream. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I am going to go and sit on my sun lounger and enjoy my holidays. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. We will be back tomorrow morning with another live update. So make sure to stay tuned until then. Press subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so you do not miss it. James says, Jess, go to the beach. That is exactly what I'm about to do. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all back here tomorrow. Goodbye.